A powerful millionaire CEO walked in on his quiet secretary by accident, and fate changed them both. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let's return to our main character. Ethan Caldwell has built his life on precision. Every minute of his day is accounted for. Every decision filtered through discipline and control. At 42, he is the CEO of a Manhattan-based investment firm housed on the 46th floor of a glass tower overlooking the Hudson River. A man known for decisive emails sent before sunrise and board meetings that end exactly on schedule. He believes nothing meaningful happens by accident. That belief shatters at 8:17 p.m. on a Thursday night. The office is quiet in a way it rarely is, the kind of silence that hums softly, broken only by the distant sound of traffic 30 floors below and the faint buzz of fluorescent lights. Ethan returns to the office after a charity dinner he left early, his tie loosened, his jacket folded over one arm, intent on retrieving a folder he forgot. He walks past the reception area, past the empty desks, and toward the administrative wing without checking the time. Lily Moore's door is usually locked by 6, always. Lily Moore herself is usually gone by then, slipping out quietly with her tote bag and her neatly organized planner, the woman most people in the office barely notice despite relying on her for everything. Tonight, the door is slightly open. Ethan does not knock. He pushes the door inward without thinking, already scrolling through an email on his phone, and steps into a moment that was never meant to be seen. She is speaking softly into her phone, her voice barely above a whisper, saying it will be okay even though her expression says she is not sure that it will be. Ethan freezes. For a split second, neither of them moves. Lily turns, startled, and their eyes meet. There is no scream, no dramatic gasp, just a sharp intake of breath and a look of pure embarrassment crossing her face as she realizes who is standing there. The most powerful man in the company has just walked in on her most private moment. Ethan immediately steps back, his hand lifting an instinctive apology. He says her name once, quietly, as if saying it too loudly would break something fragile in the room. He tells her he is sorry, that he did not mean to interrupt, that he will come back later. Lily nods quickly, wiping at her cheek with the back of her hand, trying to regain the professional composure she is known for. She says it is fine, that she was just finishing up, that she should have locked the door. Her words are efficient, controlled, practiced. But the truth has already slipped through the crack in that door. Ethan leaves, closing it gently behind him, but he does not walk away unchanged. As he stands alone in the hallway, the folder forgotten, he realizes something unsettling. For the first time in years, he has seen someone in his world not as a role, not as a title, not as a function, but as a human being carrying something heavy and invisible. Lily Moore has always been quiet, always competent, always invisible by design. And now, because of a simple accident measured in seconds and inches, Ethan Caldwell cannot unsee what he was never supposed to see. Fate does not announce itself with noise. Sometimes, it opens a door that should have been locked. By midweek, the rhythm of the office settles into its familiar pace. But something new has been quietly planted beneath the surface, something neither Ethan nor Lily can ignore. It reveals itself in details so small they could be missed by anyone else. Lily stays late again on Wednesday, not because she is asked to, but because she always does, finishing tasks that will make tomorrow smoother for everyone else. When the last meeting ends and the floor empties, she finally allows herself a moment. Alone, she opens the bottom drawer of her desk and removes the same manila envelope from the night Ethan walked in by accident. Inside are papers she rarely looks at during work hours, documents that represent the part of her life she keeps carefully separate. There are hospital billing statements with her mother's name at the top, numbers highlighted in yellow, balances that never seem to shrink no matter how carefully Lily budgets. There is also a folded letter, worn at the creases, from a community college program she once dreamed of attending full-time, congratulating her on acceptance she could never afford to use. Lily smooths the papers with practiced hands, her face calm even as the familiar weight presses against her chest. She does not cry this time. She has learned when tears are a luxury she cannot afford. Without fear, even when the cost is personal. In the meeting room, Lily speaks only when asked, but when she does, the room listens. Ethan watches as executives twice her pay nod along to her analysis. He feels a strange mix of pride and responsibility, emotions he is not accustomed to associating with an employee. Afterward, as they walk back toward their offices, Ethan thanks her again, this time mentioning the note in the report. Lily stiffens for just a moment, then relaxes when she realizes he is not prying. Not yet. They stop outside her door. For a second, it feels as though something important could be said, something honest, something that acknowledges the line they both feel shifting beneath their feet. Instead, Lily smiles politely and returns to her desk. Ethan watches her go, aware that the envelope, the letter, the life she carries quietly alongside this one, have become the seed of something irreversible. He does not know what will grow from it. He only knows it has already taken root. The following week unfolds with a strange sense of balance, as if the universe is testing how carefully both of them can carry what now exists without letting it spill. Lily adjusts to the new normal by doing what she has always done best, keeping her head down, working harder, speaking less. She convinces herself that the meeting, the recognition, the subtle attention from Ethan were professional anomalies, nothing more. She tells herself that competence is still her safest language. Yet the silence between them has changed shape. It is no longer empty. It holds memory. It holds awareness. Ethan begins to find reasons to be near her without making them obvious. He asks for clarification on minor points he already understands. He requests updates in person instead of through email. Each interaction is brief, respectful, controlled, but charged with something neither of them names. Lily notices how he listens now, not with impatience or expectation, but with genuine focus, as though every word she offers carries weight. One afternoon, a scheduling error threatens to derail a client presentation involving millions of dollars. The room tightens with tension. Voices rise. Executives glance at Ethan, waiting for his verdict. Lily steps in quietly, presenting a solution she prepared earlier as a contingency, her voice calm, her logic clear. The crisis dissolves within minutes. When the room clears, Ethan remains behind. He thanks her again, but this time his words linger. He tells her that her foresight saved the meeting, that it mattered. Lily nods, accepting the acknowledgement with practiced grace, but inside something shifts. She is not used to being seen like this. Later that evening, as the sun dips behind the skyline and the office empties, Ethan pauses outside her desk once more. He asks if she is heading out soon. The question is casual, but Lily senses the care beneath it. She says she will finish up in a few minutes. Ethan hesitates, then mentions a nearby cafe that stays open late, known for its quiet and good coffee. He suggests they walk there together, strictly to discuss work. He adds quickly, as if the clarification is necessary for both of them. Lily considers the offer carefully. This is not an order. It is not framed as obligation. It is an invitation, and that difference matters. She agrees. Outside, the city air is cooler, the sidewalk busy but anonymous. They walk side by side without touching, without rushing. The conversation stays on neutral ground at first, upcoming deadlines, project timelines, logistical details. Gradually, it softens. Ethan asks how long she has worked here. Lily answers honestly. He asks what she did before. She gives him only what she chooses, careful but real. He listens without interrupting. At the cafe, they sit across from each other with steaming mugs between them, the hum of quiet conversations around them. Ethan does not pry. He does not ask about the envelope or the night he walked in. Instead, he asks what motivates her, what keeps her steady when pressure builds. Lily thinks before answering. She tells him that she believes stability is something you build quietly, piece by piece, when no one is watching. Ethan considers her words longer than necessary. In that moment, he realizes how rarely anyone speaks to him without expectation, in motion by a single unlocked door. As the days pass, the connection between Ethan and Lily settles into a quiet rhythm that neither of them announces, but both of them feel. It is not dramatic or obvious. It lives in routine. In the way Ethan begins to trust Lily with decisions he once guarded closely, forwarding her emails with a simple note asking for her judgment before responding. in the way Lily anticipates his questions before he asks them, leaving concise summaries on his desk that reflect not just facts, but understanding. Their conversations remain professional, yet threaded with something warmer, something human. They share brief lunches in the office kitchen instead of formal restaurants, standing by the window with takeout containers, discussing books, news headlines, and the small observations of daily life that rarely make it into boardrooms. Lily laughs once, surprised by herself, at something Ethan says about a failed attempt at cooking pasta years ago. The sound stays with him longer than he expects. At work, others begin to notice subtle changes. Ethan is still decisive, still demanding, but he listens more. He asks questions instead of issuing commands. Lily remains efficient and composed, but there is a confidence in her now, a steadiness that comes from being trusted rather than merely relied upon. One afternoon, Ethan asks Lily to accompany him to an off-site meeting with a potential partner firm. It is not unusual, but the request carries weight. The meeting is held in a smaller conference room across town, informal by corporate standards. As they walk together from the building to the car, Lily feels the familiar tension of stepping into visibility. Ethan senses it and slows his pace, making sure she walks beside him, not behind. During the meeting, Lily offers insight that shifts the tone of negotiations, identifying risks that save the firm from an unfavorable clause. Ethan watches as the other executives respond to her analysis with respect. He feels a quiet satisfaction, not pride and ownership, but admiration for competence that deserves recognition. Afterward, as they ride back through traffic, the city moving steadily around them, Ethan thanks her sincerely. He tells her that she has a gift for seeing what others miss. Lily looks out the window as she responds, her voice calm. She says she learned early that attention to detail is a form of protection. Ethan understands more than she knows. That evening, Lily stays late again, organizing files for the next week. When she finally shuts down her computer, she notices a small envelope on her desk. Inside is a handwritten note from Ethan, brief and understated, thanking her for her work on the partnership and acknowledging the value she brings to the firm. There is no praise meant to impress, only honesty. Lily reads it twice, then folds it carefully and places it in her planner, beside the key to her locked drawer. For the first time in a long while, she allows herself to feel seen without fear. Ethan, alone in his office, considers how far he has come from the man who believed distance was safety. He reflects on how Lily never asked for more than respect, never demanded attention, yet changed the way he leads simply by being herself. The review takes place in a glass conference room with a view of the city, neutral and exposed. Questions are asked about her expanded responsibilities, her presence in meetings, her proximity to the executive office. Lily answers calmly, providing documentation, timelines, proof of performance. She keeps her voice even, her posture steady, but inside she feels the familiar fear of being misunderstood, of having her integrity questioned for circumstances she did not create. When the meeting ends, she walks back to her desk feeling smaller than she has in weeks. Ethan learns about the review from an email he was not meant to see, forwarded by mistake. Anger flares, sharp and immediate, but he contains it. He knows reacting emotionally would only validate the narrative forming around them. Instead, he asks Lily to step into his office. The door closes quietly behind her. He tells her what he knows, not as her superior, but as someone who respects her enough to be honest. Lily listens, her face composed, but when she speaks her voice carries a quiet firmness. She tells him she does not want special protection. She wants fairness. She wants clarity. She wants to know that whatever is happening between them, professional or otherwise, will not cost her the career she has built. Ethan realizes in that moment how much courage it takes for her to say that. He assures her that he will address the situation directly, transparently, without placing her in the crossfire. True to his word, he calls a meeting with senior leadership the following day. He outlines Lily's contributions in precise detail, tying each expanded responsibility to measurable outcomes. He makes it clear that performance, not proximity, dictates trust. He does not defend rumors. He dismantles them. The room listens. Some are surprised. Others are uncomfortable. Lily hears about the meeting later from a colleague who looks at her differently now, with respect rather than curiosity. Still, the pressure lingers. That evening, Lily stays late again, not because she has to, but because she needs the quiet to think. Ethan passes by her desk on his way out and pauses. He asks if she is all right. The question is simple, but the concern behind it is unmistakable. Lily nods, then stops herself. She tells him the truth. She says she can handle scrutiny, but she cannot handle being misjudged for doing her job. Well, Ethan listens, absorbing the weight of what his position has placed on her shoulders. He tells her that whatever comes next, he will not allow her integrity to be questioned without response. They stand there for a moment, aware that the world outside that office is watching more closely now. The misunderstanding has surfaced, testing the foundation they have built. And both of them know that what happens next will determine whether this connection can survive the light. The tension finally breaks on a Friday afternoon when Lily asks Ethan for 5 minutes. Her voice calm but resolute, her eyes steady in a way that tells him this is not a routine request. She closes the door to his office herself and remains standing, choosing not to sit. The city hums beyond the glass, but inside the room the air feels still. Lily speaks first. She tells him she appreciates the way he handled the leadership meeting, the way he defended her work without turning her into a symbol. Then she tells him that appreciation is not enough. She says the scrutiny has not stopped, that the whispers have simply learned to lower their voices, that every success now carries a question mark she never had to answer before. Ethan listens without interrupting, resisting the instinct to fix the problem immediately. Lily continues, her words measured but honest. She tells him that she has spent her entire career proving she belongs by being better than necessary, quieter than required, invisible by design. She says that whatever exists between them, whether it is respect, trust, or something she has not allowed herself to name, has consequences she cannot ignore. She looks at him directly and asks the question she has been carrying for weeks. She asks him if he sees her as a professional first, or as a complication he did not plan for. The question lands heavier than any accusation. Ethan feels the weight of his position in a way he never has before. He tells her the truth. He tells her that he did not expect any of this, that the accident stripped away a distance he relied on, and that he has been trying to navigate something he does not fully understand. He admits that his feelings have shifted, not in a way that diminishes her work, but in a way that has made him more aware of her humanity and his own. Lily listens, her expression unreadable. She tells him that awareness is not enough if it places her at risk. She tells him she needs boundaries, clarity, and choice. She says she cannot afford ambiguity. Ethan nods, understanding finally settling into resolve. He tells her that if she chooses distance, he will respect it completely. If she chooses to step back from expanded responsibilities, he will support that decision without question. He makes it clear that her career will not be collateral damage to his self-discovery. Lily absorbs his words, considering them carefully. She tells him she does not want to step back. She wants to move forward on her own terms. She wants transparency, not protection. She wants any connection between them to be rooted in equality, not power. Ethan agrees without hesitation. He tells her that whatever happens next will be decided together, openly, without secrecy. The conversation does not end with a confession or a promise. It ends with mutual understanding. Lily exhales, some of the tension leaving her shoulders. She tells him she needed to say these things out loud before resentment could take root. Ethan thanks her for trusting him enough to confront him. When Lily leaves the office, she feels lighter, though the path ahead remains uncertain. Ethan remains standing by the window long after she goes, realizing that this moment, this honest reckoning, has changed him more than any boardroom battle ever has. For the first time, he understands that leadership without integrity is hollow, and connection without respect is impossible. Whatever comes next will demand courage from both of them, not the quiet kind that hides in efficiency, but the visible kind that stands its ground in the open. The following Monday begins with an email sent to the entire firm, brief and unmistakably direct. Ethan announces a company-wide meeting scheduled for noon, mandatory for senior leadership and open to all staff. The subject line mentions transparency and governance, words that carry weight in a place built on precision. Lily reads the message twice at her desk, unsure what it will bring. She has done her job, held her boundaries, and refused to shrink, but the uncertainty still tightens her chest. At noon, the main conference room fills quickly. Executives line the long table. Staff members stand along the walls. Ethan enters last, composed and focused, carrying a slim folder. He begins without preamble. He outlines recent changes in delegation, decision-making, and leadership structure, speaking clearly about accountability and merit. He addresses the rumors without naming them, stating that advancement and access are earned through performance, not proximity. He cites specific outcomes, measurable results, and contributions from across the firm, including Lily's, mentioned by name with factual clarity and professional respect. There is no embellishment, no defensiveness, only record and reason. He then announces a structural change, the creation of a new operations role that formalizes responsibilities Lily has already been carrying, reporting to the board rather than directly to him. The room shifts with quiet surprise. Lily feels the moment land like a steadying hand. This is not protection. This is recognition placed in the open. Ethan closes by saying that leadership demands integrity, and integrity demands courage to correct course when power creates imbalance. The meeting ends in silence, thoughtful rather than stunned. Afterward, colleagues approach Lily with congratulations that feel sincere. She thanks them calmly, her posture steady. In Ethan's office later, they meet privately. Lily speaks first, acknowledging the clarity of his actions. She tells him it matters that he chose daylight over quiet favors. Ethan tells her he learned something essential, that leadership is not diminished by sharing power, it is strengthened. He hands her the folder, the formal offer inside. Lily reads it carefully, then looks up and accepts. There is relief in her smile, but also pride. As the workday ends, Ethan asks if she would like to walk with him, not as her supervisor, but as himself. Lily considers, then agrees. They leave the building together, the city alive around them. The walk is easy, unhurried. They talk about what comes next, not in sweeping promises, but in honest questions. At the corner where they part ways, Ethan stops. He tells her that whatever this becomes, he wants it to be chosen freely, without pressure or secrecy. Lily meets his gaze and tells him that choice is exactly what she has claimed. She says she is willing to see where this goes, slowly, openly, on equal footing. Ethan nods, accepting the terms with visible respect. They do not touch. They do not rush. They simply stand there, two people who have crossed a difficult bridge with integrity intact. As Lily walks away, she feels something new. Settle in her chest, not fear, not doubt, but confidence rooted in being seen fully and treated fairly. Ethan watches her go, knowing that the grandest gesture he could offer was not romance, but justice, and that choice has changed both of them more than any accident ever could. Time passes with a steadiness that surprises them both, not marked by dramatic declarations, but by chosen moments that feel earned. Lily steps fully into her new role with confidence, her days filled with decisions that carry weight beyond her desk. She no longer works laid out of fear or obligation, but out of purpose, leaving the office at a reasonable hour with her planner organized and her shoulders lighter. Ethan adapts as well, learning how to lead with openness rather than distance, how to listen without assuming control. They meet outside of work sparingly at first, coffee on quiet mornings, walks along the river where the city noise fades into a steady backdrop. There is no secrecy, no rush. When they speak, it is with the understanding that what they are building must be as strong as the principles that brought them here. One evening, months after the accident that began everything, Ethan invites Lily to a small art gallery opening near the neighborhood cafe where they once talked about stability and patience. The gallery is modest, the walls filled with work from local artists, the atmosphere warm and unpretentious. As they move through the space, Lily pauses in front of a piece that depicts a city street at dusk, ordinary and luminous at the same time. She tells Ethan that it reminds her of how lives intersect quietly, without spectacle. Ethan listens, realizing that this is what he has learned from her, that meaning is not always loud. When they step outside, the night air cool against their faces, Ethan stops beneath a streetlight. He does not kneel. He does not make a speech. He tells her that he has chosen to step back from a board position he once guarded fiercely, making room for others to lead, including her. He tells her that knowing her has reshaped his understanding of success, that he wants a future built on partnership, not hierarchy. Lily listens, her heart steady rather than racing. She tells him she wants the same, a life where respect is constant and choice is mutual. She takes his hand, the gesture simple and sure, sealing an understanding that does not need spectacle. Months later, at a quiet gathering of friends and colleagues, they stand together without labels, without pretense. Lily is no longer the quiet secretary. Ethan is no longer the distant executive. They are two people who met through an accident and chose, again and again, to respond with integrity. As the evening winds down, Lily looks around the room and feels something she once thought was out of reach, a sense of belonging rooted in being fully seen. Ethan watches her laugh with a colleague and understands that fate did not change them in a single moment. It changed them through choice, through courage, through the willingness to let a mistake become a beginning. In the end, what they built together is not defined by power or position, but by the simple truth that real leadership and real love are acts of honesty, practiced every day.